All right, systemic financial fraud in the investment industry in less than 5 minutes. The Canadian Securities Administrators tells us that March is Fraud Prevention Month, and they would like us to check our registration to go and see if your investment advisor or firm is registered. That's March 19th to prevent fraud. And this sort of follows along CBC's good programming they did recently. Show Me the Money on investment advisor failings, representations, that kind of stuff that were costing people a lot of money. For my American friends, go to Frontline PBS. The retirement gamble is the best thing I've seen this last year. And do you know how much which financial advisor to trust? How much retirement fees costing you? Losing the retirement gamble. Yeah, you're losing half your money if you don't get half your retirement if you don't get this one figured out. So Wall Street Journal blog, Jason Zweig says, should you go to an advisor with an E or an advisor with an O? This is part of the misrepresentation and the systemic fraud I want you to know about. Back to the Canadian Securities Commissions, 13 commissions across Canada call themselves the CSA. And they tell us that we should work with an advisor with an E, and they give us all kinds of good advice on advisors and client-advisor relationships and finding out if they're registered and that kind of thing. What they don't tell us very, very easily is that they're willfully blind to real live registrations. So you go to their broker search page, Canadian Securities Administrators, registration search, type in the name or the firm, do a search, and in the US you'll go to FINRA, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. Be very cautious. This is a self-regulatory authority, so you might get sold a bill of goods. Check on broker check, and you'll get a page like this to check the name or the firm and see how they're registered, what their license is. Let's see what it comes up to. It comes up with a page like this that says, in Canada, understanding registration. And there's really two important ways, the main ways that retail investment sellers in Canada are registered. A dealing representative, that used to be a salesperson. They changed the name to make it a little more confusing. In the US, that's called a broker, which is a salesperson. And an advisor, an advising representative, is the new name to make it a little more confusing in Canada. That's called an advisor in the US, spelled with an E. So if we went back to choosing an advisor, the Canadian securities regulators and the US are all legally using the word advisor, S-E-R. And yet most guys out there are telling you that they are an advisor with an O on the business card. And so they haven't got this license or this license. They are basically fudging the numbers here so that you think that they're this guy when they're actually no guy. They're actually the sales guy. So where do you go to find real live portfolio managers or professionals? In Canada, you go to a portfolio manager, and a portfolio manager has a license called advisor with an E. The difference is they have a fiduciary responsibility. They have to give you a written undivided loyalty to the client. Your fees will be a small percentage of the retail guys. Retail, you'll be fed to the wolves or the non-licensed people. And they can charge you as much as you want because they don't have a duty to place your best interests first. So I would say find portfolio managers in the US and in Canada. They are the professionals, usually a CFA, not a CFP. That's a sales designation in my opinion, unless they're fee only. So we're back to go to an advisor or an advisor. This one, advisor, is the one to run from. And how they represent that when there are laws on the books. Here's the Ontario Securities Commission. We have a Securities Act. We have 13 of them in 13 provinces and territories. And Section 44 of the Act says no person or company shall represent that they are registered under this Act unless it's true. And when making the representation, they specify their category of registration. Now, the Ontario Securities Commission turns a completely blind eye to 150,000 registrants in Canada who are calling themselves advisor with an O when they do not have an advisor license. What they are is one of these guys or these guys or these guys, dealing representative. Okay, so they're not even following this law, and the Securities Commission looks the other way. Secondly, a statement cannot be untrue or omit information necessary to prevent the statement from being false or misleading. The Securities Commission in Canada are 100% paid by the investment industry. Top guys at Ontario Commission and Alberta are earning over $700,000, and so you realize why they're quite happy to ignore some of the rules for their friends. InvestorAdvocates.ca is where you'll find this information coming from. This particular video, sources, links, pages, reference are found here under Securities Commissions Assist Predatory Behaviors. Go there if you want to learn more. I'll skip through here. American Banker magazine, Neil Weinberg's the editor-in-chief. He produced a pretty neat little blog, October 18th, 2013, titled Where Wrongdoing Still Thrives on Wall Street. Read the section titled Financial Advisory Chicanery, and it tells this story pretty good. I would say the damages in Canada. This is Keith Ambush-Steer, University of Toronto pension analyst from the Rotman School of Business. And in April 2007, he said it's a $25 billion haircut. That's $25 billion a year being skimmed or skinned or shortchanged or cheated from Canadians because of things that are set in place by being able to fool people into trust me, I'm an advisor when they don't have the license. That's kind of like me saying trust me, I'm a doctor, spelling it with an E. This is me, Larry Alford. I've got videos on YouTube. This one's kind of fun, Investment Advisor Bait and Switch, get your money back. I think there's a lot of things in here that people could learn from. The investment industry tells you none of this because they make too much money hiding it. Sad thing is the regulators in Canada, in the US, are acting willfully blind and helping the investment industry. Contact me on Facebook, Twitter, and we will see if we can't fix this. Thanks for coming along.